Hello, my name is Bunny Lyons from Bunny Cakes in Berlin, New Jersey, and I'm going to be showing you how to decorate my salted caramel snickerdoodle cookies, and we're going to be pairing them with these beverages from the Finger Lakes. Really excited? Let's get started. First, we're going to start out with our royal icing. The recipe, you use powdered sugar, meringue powder, warm water, corn syrup, a vanilla extract that is clear, and then a white gel food coloring. To achieve flood consistency, you want your royal icing to be between 8 to 10 seconds in having it level out, and that's something that I will show you in a moment. It's coming together very pretty. Okay, let's see how it looks. Nice. All right, I think we have it. And you notice it's kind of coming down, ribboning very nicely. All right, I'm gonna run it through 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000, 7 1000, 8 1000. Perfect. 9, and the line is gone. Okay, so now we have our royal icing made. Now we get to play with our beautiful holiday cookie here. We're just going to be coloring our icing in 2 different colors, the red and the green. The different techniques are going to be the flood consistency, which is the main part of the cookie, and then we're going to be making a medium consistency icing for the lines, and then a thicker icing consistency for the wonderful whipped cream on the top of your mug cookie. I'm going to take my royal icing and I'm going to put it into 2 different bowls since we're making the red and the green, but we're first going to start out with the white. So I'm going to put some of that in here. I use tipless bags, and they have like a seam that runs down the side of the bag. First, bag my flood consistency icing. You don't want to overfill your bag also, because you want to be able to hold it and not have it squeeze out the back of your bag. And then I'm going to do something with centrifugal force. I'm going to take my bag, you want to hold it tight and just give it a good swing like this, like a little helicopter. It brings your icing down to the tip, and you won't have to worry too much about getting any bubbles in your icing. So we got our first bag done. Next, make my thicker consistency of the white. Add some powdered sugar to it to thicken it up. You want your icing to be a peanut butter consistency. With royal icing, it's a play between your powdered sugar and your water content. It's just feeling what the consistency is, because royal icing is very, very finicky sometimes. All right, I already feel that this is the right consistency. Great. So make sure this is well mixed in. All right. And one of the things that I do, put a T on it to say that it's thickened so I don't get it mixed up with my flood icing, because it can happen very easily. You can mix these bags up and you end up using flood icing where you want to put your thickened icing, and then there'll be a lot of tears, and we don't want tears while we're decorating our pretty holiday cookies. All right, and we'll put that down there. Now, in this same bowl, I'm going to put some of the flood icing. So we want a nice red. Give it a couple good squirts of red gel food coloring. You want to make sure that this isn't water-based. The gel works great with the royal icing. If you do have a water-based food coloring, you want to make sure that you compensate with your royal icing because it will thin out your royal icing. I'm going to make my green now. 2 consistencies. I'm going to start out with the green flood, and then whatever is left in the bowl, I'm going to thicken that to make the medium consistency. And the color that I'm using is called avocado, and it is one of my favorite greens. It's got a great hue to it. It's not too bright. It's very earthy looking. All right, so that is our green flood. Last is our thickened medium consistency flood, because I want to inch up on this. I don't want it too thick because we want it to flow very nicely to make our lines. Before we start decorating our cookies, we're going to start with using an edible black marker to trace on the cookies where we want our colors to go. We're going to be doing them in separate parts so that it can dry, and then we add the other colors next to it. You can be creative, whatever your heart desires. Make sure with these markers that you go light-handed. That color can bleed up through the white and really make your design look not so pleasing. So now that this is done, we can start flooding our cookies. There's a certain way that you have to cut your bag. And I mentioned earlier about the seam that runs down the middle of your icing bag. Make sure that that seam runs right up the middle. You're going to cut a very small piece, about this much, off of the top. If you cut the hole too big, because it's flood icing, it's just gonna pour out and you're not gonna have any control over it. Start out with the wet on wet technique. This technique, you're going to be using 2 flood icings. Start flooding my cookie from the outside and work your way to the center. If you start from the center and work your way out, what will happen is the icing will push out and go over the sides. And you want the first pass to touch the second pass. Give it a little jiggle to help flatten it out so it's nice and level. Okay, so now that that is done, I'm going to do my polka dots on the top part for the wet on wet technique. I like to be symmetrical, so I put the dots kind of going in between each other for each row. And you want it to be straight up and down. You do a dot, kind of eyeball it, go across, do another dot, and you're just letting it gently go into your cookie. Then we'll move on to the next section, because that's where our little trees are going to go. So now that these are all iced, I'm just going to push these aside for about 15 minutes. We're going to let them crust over, and now we're going to move on to our little gingerbread men. Legs with the little wiggle wiggle. So our little snaky gingies are all done, and they look so cute. Now that these have dried for about 15 minutes or so, our flooding has set, so now we can start decorating the rest of our cookie using your thickened green consistency. Our takeoff and landing. You want to lift up, start squeezing even, put it back down again. taking our thickened icing, and this time we're really going to take a chunk out of it. And we'll use it as a glue for our happy little candy cane there that's sticking up out of our mug. And you're going to start squeezing it and spiraling up to the top, and do a little bloop like that. Give it a nice little sprinkling of our cinnamon and sugar. Okay, done. Now we get to taste. The Finger Lakes is world-renowned for their beverages, and I've made some really cool twists on their wonderful wines and ciders that they offer. And for the holidays, we have a spice cider from Eve's Cidery. The White Russian, we've used vodka from the Finger Lakes Distillery. And then for the mulled wine, we use Wagner's Seneca Red. And they're all very tasty and pair wonderfully with my salted caramel snickerdoodle. Perfect for the holidays and very enjoyable to share with your family and friends.